Hey, it's Tom Llewellyn with Civil. Hey, for the last couple of weeks, it's like the number one and number two priorities in fixing government ones. One is like, how do you get to performance-based government? Like, I spend $1 and actually get more than $1 worth of value, which is not the way we operate right now. Second, getting big money out of politics. But the third one, the one right up front in terms of operational excellence, of financial sustainability, is our retirement system. We all know it's kind of broke, Social Security and Medicare. And yet over the years, the only solution to financing has been to increase taxes. And we've done it 32 times. And we're still in the same problem, right? We don't have enough money. In fact, Social Security Administration says, you know, over the next 75 years, we're going to be short about 50 trillion. Now, understand that is a low estimate, right? The more likely estimate is between 50 and 125 trillion. If you can imagine borrowing that on top of all the other borrowing that we have to do because we're short money, it's an extraordinary number that is going to weigh down on the economy because you have to pay interest on it. And just so you know, this year, or I guess 2019, we borrowed $500 billion on a $5 trillion budget. It's like 10% of it. It's like, well, you know, if we have increasing amounts of money that we're borrowing, it's a bigger and bigger weight on the economy, right? So we don't want to do that. Now understand, these two systems had to be set up as a tax-based system. There wasn't a way to save. It was talked about in the 30s, it's how could we do this, but there's no way. Remember the little pass books? I had a little one when I was a kid. It's like you wrote the numbers down at the bank when you brought in, you know, for me it was like $1 or 30 cents or whatever. You know, you can't do, you know, if you don't have automation, you can't create individual retirement accounts like you can today, right? So we went with the tax-based solution. And guess what? It was upside down the first year, right? Or it was right side up the first year, and then as we got into it, because it looked flush with money, we kept expanding the base. So as it was originally just for the poor, now, I mean, even billionaires are getting checks. Makes no sense. But one other thing was just the craziest problem they created for themselves. They decided to fix the age of retirement at 65. Now understand, life expectancy had, in the first four decades, went up 17 years. Who in their right mind would go, well, this is a good idea? Well, and it's kept going up. And what happens when life expectancy goes up, the cohort of people that are alive that you have to pay benefits goes up. So as the government was creating an increased scope, the number of people that got checks or gets benefits, they were also increasing the pool of people because of life expectancy. There's no way to catch up. There's no way to catch up this century. And that's why we're 50 to $125 trillion upside down, because our life expectancy is going to go up according to Social Security, about 11 years. According to longevity experts, like Dr. Sinclair out of Harvard, thinks 33 is not an unlikely number of an increase in life expectancy. So how do you fix this mess? I mean, we're in a perpetual road to financial ruin simply because as a system, nobody knows how to run. And we've given it to a whole bunch of people that aren't very good in terms of operational excellence. They don't care. Honestly, I look every day and I just wonder, do these guys give a damn or are they just trying to get elected? I'm going for the latter, right? So, but how do you fix it? Is this a hard problem? You just got to look at it a little differently. It's like, we need to be saving. We really need to be saving. So just imagine, $1 tax this year that goes out this year is worth $1. If we're able to save, if I saved $1 50 years ago, even at like 4 or 5% interest, it's worth $172 this year. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of savings. So we need to focus there because that's where the benefit is, right? So how would you do it, right? So the first couple of things that you've got to do is you got to figure out how to have the age so it increases as life expectancy, or retirement age increases as life expectancy goes up. And we need to kind of bump it up a couple of years just to kind of get budgetary things in line because it's already gone up 2 years this century, right? But the other thing is means testing. You know, I was listening to a billionaire a month ago or so, and he's like, why am I getting these checks? I got no reason, right? I don't need this money. And look, there's 5% of our population at least is rich enough where they can take care of themselves. So raise the age, index it, and then means test. Out of the gates, we save probably 15% of the budget on means testing. Just for the rich, we save another 10 to 12% by increasing the age a couple of years as quickly as we can. But we can means test more people. So I'm not rich, but I've got a little nest egg. I don't need all the money, the government or the benefits. They can raise some of those and means test me as well. You get another 10%, and all of a sudden you have a bunch of kind of space on that tax that you could decrease, keep the business tax, but you could decrease the tax on the individuals, let's say down to 3.5%, and then save the other portion. What happens over the course of 40 years is you create $100 trillion in nest eggs. You get more and more millionaires that don't need any help. And all of a sudden, instead of 20 or 30% less budget for Social Security and Medicare, you're in the 50, 60, 70% range, and you're focusing the benefits on poor people, which is what the government ought to be doing. That's the message. It's like, is government supposed to take care of all of us, or do we need to help those in most in need? I go for the latter. So anyway, that's Tom Llewellyn. That's just one of 6 more to come in terms of how do we improve our government, the culture in our government, and its effectiveness in our economy. Thanks.